I am Randy Varsava. Let's do business for God. I'm in the Word. I'm going to read from Matthew chapter 17. After 6 days, Jesus took Peter and James and John, the brother of James, and led them up a high mountain where they could be alone. And Jesus' appearance changed in front of them. His face became as bright as the sun, and his clothes as white as light. Suddenly Moses and Elijah appeared to them and were talking with Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it's good that we're here if you want. I'll put up 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He was still speaking when a bright cloud overshadowed them. Then a voice came out of the cloud and said, "This is my son, in whom I love, and with whom I am pleased. Listen to him." The disciples were terrified when they heard this and fell face down to the ground. But Jesus touched them and said, "Get up and don't be afraid." As they raised their heads, they saw no one but Jesus. In verse 6, it says, the disciples were terrified when they heard this, and they fell face down to the ground. In more than one instance, we see in the Word that when there would be an appearance of an angel or a person, that one of the common reactions was that because of the presence, the strong presence of that person that has appeared, it's common that the people would fall down. I would relate it like this. When something like that happens, I imagine that the burst, when they come on the scene, when they appear, when someone appears like that the burst of energy that happens when a person comes through from the spiritual realm into the earthly realm, the burst of energy that can take place is perceived by the flesh or the person that's seeing this happen, that it's overwhelming, and I understand that. Okay. You've heard the phrase "drop dead gorgeous." Well, I was preparing for this video in the last few days, and supernatural recall came upon me. Now, one of my reference books that I use is W.E. Vine's Expository Dictionary of Old and New Testament Words. Now, I got into that book about a long time ago, I'll just say that. And I really went at that book ravenously, learning and digesting from that book. And through the years, occasionally I would refer back to it. And in the last, the last 2 or 3 days, I got a supernatural recall on some of the words that expository dictionary, W.E. Vine is a Greek scholar, a Greek expert. So you're learning translations from Greek into English. And one of the words that I remembered, this is really remarkable. I hadn't thought of this word in some time, and it just came back to me. And the word that came back to me is spelled Lampros. 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 It's, to me, it's obvious that the root word in there is the word lamp. In other words, light, an explosion of light. But anyway, the word that I'm going to mention here is the word lampros. And the Holy Spirit started talking to me about this. And I thought about that phrase, drop dead gorgeous. And I know of a lot of instances from studying the word where people would appear, and that was very startling, and people would fall out. And sometimes, like for example, when the Queen of Sheba, when she showed up to see all that King Solomon had. I'm saying the right guy's name, right? Solomon? That when she saw the more than magnificent splendor of all that Solomon had, she fell out, if you understand that expression. The world would say she fainted. Nah, I don't think that's the right word. I think she fell out. She simply was overwhelmed. And it was not just all natural stuff. A lot of what she saw, I believe, there was a presence coming through from the Spirit, as well as what she was seeing in the natural. And she just couldn't stand it. She couldn't handle it. Right into detail, it says in the Word. Now, this is a woman. And you know, guys, women think differently, of course. They will notice things that you don't notice. You don't care about the cloth trim on things and, the tassels and the doodads and the fancy trim, the fancy borders on clothing and stuff like that. You don't necessarily notice that. Women do. And it says that when she saw how Solomon's house staff were arrayed in their garments, that she was beyond astonished, that she had never seen. She's the Queen of Sheba. She's got the money, man. She's got money. They dress real nice in her palace. But when she saw what Solomon had, she was just totally overwhelmed. Fell out. Thump, hits the floor. You know, that's overwhelmed. Okay, getting back to the expression drop dead gorgeous. Well, God help me to sew this together. I thought of instances where Jesus showed up and there was reactions, of course, in the natural from the people when the various ones when he showed up. And it reminded me of the phrase drop dead gorgeous. So you might say Jesus is drop dead gorgeous. Never thought of that before, did you? You might say Jesus is drop dead gorgeous. And that word gorgeous there, I did a word study on that word gorgeous. And involved in that is bright. Well, lots of people that saw Jesus said that he appeared very bright. You know, when his appearance was there, it was very, very bright. And that word gorgeous means bright. Many people never knew that before. If you've never studied this out, how would you know? But that word gorgeous there, it means bright, light, referring to light. So you might say Jesus is drop dead gorgeous. And that Greek word lampros, people fall out at his presence. The word lampros, if we go to some of the single word definitions of it, means bright, it means clear, it means fine, it means goodly, it means sumptuous, and it means white. So think about that today, that Jesus is drop dead gorgeous. Come see me again.